Hi everybody, Doug here. Welcome back to yet another board game channel where I will be starting yet another board game playthrough, finally. And yet another go at Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. I just today picked up the Beyond the Threshold expansion and decided let's do that. Because despite the fact that I generally lose terribly every time, I still love this game. So yeah, I'm going to do one of the expansion opens up 2 more scenarios on the app. So I'm going to do one of those. Going to do the shorter one because otherwise it'll take weeks to get through. But yeah, before I actually choose the scenario and go through everything in the app to set up, we're going to go over the investigators that I have chosen at random. I chose 3 of them at random. So we're going to learn a little bit about them. Alright, up first we have Amanda Sharp, the student. You can see has 7 health and 7 sanity. There are her stats. I won't go over all of them. You can see them there. You may perform 2 additional puzzle steps while attempting a puzzle. So she's a clever one. Let's see what it says about her story. The halls of Miskatonic University have been home to many accomplished scholars, and Amanda Sharp was on track to be one of the institution's most talented graduates. However, after seeing a strange painting of an enormous creature emerging from the ocean, her classwork has suffered. Her dreams are overwhelmed by images of a vast submerged city and the sounds of whispers in a language she does not understand. While her studies may have been set aside, she remains bright and dedicated to her work. The difference now is that the work she focuses on is the resolution of occult mysteries. Strangeness is calling to her. Up next, we have, yes, our urchin, Wendy Adams. 6 health, 8 sanity. She cannot become stunned or restrained, so good on that, because those status problems are just the worst. Wendy's mama gave her that necklace when she was small. She would tell her stories while Wendy watched its strange eye and star design spinning in the air. When Papa went missing, lost at sea, and Mama got... Oh, then Papa went missing, lost at sea, and Mama got strange. She drew arcane symbols in chalk all over the house, read bizarre books, and spoke in dead languages. Eventually, they came and took Mama to an asylum and Wendy to an orphanage. But Wendy was not an orphan. She would point out to anyone who would listen. Her Mama was crazy, not dead, and no one ever found Papa's body, so he might not be dead either. These are valid points, Wendy. The orphanage could not hold Wendy for long, not after the picture of her father came in the mail. So she left, and now she is looking for her Papa, looking for her Mama, looking for some sense from the eye and star symbol that she still wears around her neck. Life has not been good to Wendy. And up third, Akachi Onyele, the shaman, and I'm glad we got her because she's actually from the new expansion. I just randomly chose and got one of the 2 new investigators. Right, her health and sanity are the same as Wendy's. Effects cannot cause her to discard clues unless we choose to. That's nice, because clues are like gold. As a young girl in Nigeria, Akachi became used to being set apart. Her habit of chattering away to thin air and secluding herself from other children led her village to believe she was mad. Her village, Dibia, sorry if I'm mangling that, was the first to see her true potential. He believed that Kachi was marked by the spirits for greatness and taught her how to use her communion with them to her advantage. Under his tutelage, Akachi grew into a wise young leader, respected not just in the village, but in every community to which he brought aid. Now she meets her destiny head-on, seeking out unnatural troubles that only her knowledge can stop. And there's no more unnatural troubles than there are in Arkham. So there is our trio. So we will now go back to the app for a moment and start up our scenario. Alright, back to the app. I'm going to start a new game. And we're going to be doing Vengeful Impulses, which as you can see is a 2 out of 5 difficulty, so I've got some kind of chance. 90 to 120 minutes. Longer because filming. So yes, we will select our investigators and then see what goodies it gives us. So we have Akachi, Amanda, and presumably on the last, almost last page, Wendy. So we're going to get out the things we start with. I'm going to have the .38 revolver, the bandages, yay bandages, and the fine clothes, as well as a copy of the Wither spell chosen at random. Here we are, so we're going to have to spread amongst our investigators. Wither spell. The spell takes effect. The victim's body withers and mummifies. About a wee bit. Ranged, of course, as most spells are, and base damage of 2. Gonna give that to, well, Amanda and Akachi both are tied for the highest lore with 4 each. So yeah, I'm going to give that to Akachi. The fine clothes. Roll 1 additional die while resolving an influence test. Let's see, everybody's influence. We have 3, 3, and 3. Well, I'm going to give that to Amanda. Doesn't seem thematically correct for Wendy to have it. She's an urchin. I think maybe I'll give her the bandages, though. Action, discard up to 2 face-down damage, then discard the cards. We'll give that to Wendy, which leaves us with a .38 revolver, a trusty service piece for any member of the armed forces. Well, that's likely to be an agility thing. We're going to give the .38 revolver to the child, just because she has an agility of 5, and I think that's more likely to be the stat that we try to use when using the gun. And as always, everybody starts with 1 clue each. Alright, zoom back in a little bit. I'm going to turn up the volume, and we will start the story as soon as the loading screen in between is done. Doop. All right, here we go.
Thomas Carvey has a reputation for throwing unique dinner parties. Each of his soirees combines strange food with even stranger people. When his invitation came in the mail, your first instinct was to toss it in the trash. But the personal plea on the reverse side, written in large, blocky letters, caught your attention. Now, as your car winds up the drive, your doubts return. Carvey's lavish mansion and fancy topiary cannot conceal his reputation completely. Your fellow guests are surely some of his more infamous connections, people with only veneers of respectability. Carvey greets you almost immediately after you get out of the car. Oh, you made it, right. This way. He lowers his voice. Some of the guests have already arrived. You need to be discreet. This may all come to nothing. Still, my general policy is always to have an ace up my sleeve, so get in there and figure out who is trying to kill me.
Well, gang, it looks like we got another mystery on our hands. So, somebody is trying to kill Thomas Carvey. We're going to try to pre-solve a murder. So, we'll just cut away, and I'll move the iPad off screen most of the time, and just read off what's happening and place things, do setup on the table. Back in a moment. Alright, Mr. Carvey leads you into his home. Place the entry hall tile, hall 2 tile, and a wall as indicated. It is done. You follow your host inside and are surprised at the disarray. Several pieces of furniture lie on the floor and it looks like a fight occurred. Place your investigator figures as indicated. So we are all starting in this space here. Oh wait, there's a line there. Okay, so starting in this space. Yes, right there. Back under his roof, Carvey seems to slip easily into his role as host. Welcome to my home. Please excuse the mess. There was a minor incident earlier, but I will tell everyone all about it during dinner. Place a person token as indicated. It's one that I figured we would need. This is Thomas Carvey. He believes an acquaintance here is planning to murder him. A polite clearing of the throat draws your attention to a smartly dressed butler who is tidying the mess. Thomas nods. Yes, this is my butler. He is the only one in the house who knows why. He stops, looking around briefly. Well, my butler can also help you with anything you need before dinner. Place a person token there. A day planner has been set on a side table. Right there. A thin piece of parchment has been framed on the wall. Through that door is the lounge. You can find Miss May Nguyen enjoying herself in there. Thomas smiles. Also, Leland Williams is likely reclining in there. Place an explore token. Through that door is the dining room. I believe young Mr. Darcy is trying to avoid small talk in there. Over there is the kitchen, but if you care to mingle, you will not find anyone there. Through those doors, that one and that one, is the library. My personal assistant, Miss Jean Spencer, is likely in there. You notice a door Carvey has failed to mention. Carvey gestures you closer to him. Now, dinner will be starting promptly at 7, so you only have a little time for mingling before dinner. After dinner, you will be able to talk with them more and really understand my concerns. Also, while I appreciate why you are here, please have a certain level of discretion. That means no ransacking my house in front of my guests. I've seen how your type operates. Thomas Carvey has hired you to find which among his 4 dinner guests is attempting to kill him. In exchange for your assistance, he has promised to pass you information on some of his more suspicious contacts. In order to save his life, you must mingle with the other 4 invitees to learn more about them. And the investigator phase begins. Well, I will just take a moment to consider what to do. Well, as nothing horrid is actually happening yet, I think it's probably safe to split up for the time being, just so we have. Yeah, we need to talk to as many people as possible before dinner starts. So, I'm going to see. Well, the first thing I'm actually going to do is have. Let's go with Amanda first. She is going to actually. Let's see if we speak to the butler. Yes, the butler has begun to tidy the foyer by righting the overturned furniture. As an action, we can either ask him what happened here and what is through that far door. Except I just realized he's in the next space, so we can't actually talk to him yet. We're gonna have to move. Huh. That's too bad. It's gonna take up an extra action. Well, we can speak to him after opening some doors. Actually, the mysterious door, I can't do anything with. Garvey clearly does not yet believe that whatever is behind this door is relevant to the investigation. So I can't do that anyway. So yeah, let's have Amanda go first. She's going to... Yeah, there she is. I'm going to have her move. Use up her first movement. Second movement, let's get some map revealed here. Let us... Yes, Carvey mentioned that this was the door to the library and that Gene Spencer, one of the guests, was in there. We're going to go ahead and explore. The library is well kept. It's here somewhere. It's a new tile, yes. The shelves are neatly organized and the room smells faintly of polished wood. Place the library tile as indicated. It's in this direction, and we'll get rid of those two explore tokens. A young woman examines a shelf of books. Place a person token as indicated. This is Gene Spencer, one of your suspects. An ancient tome lies in a glass case. Also, a familiar cover on one of the books catches your eye. Well, it would. It's Amanda, the student. You may move one space into the explored area. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and move her. She's also got one more movement action left. She only moved one of her two spaces. But I think we're going to just stay there so we can start investigating and talking to these people. I think, yeah, next Wendy. Well, we've given Wendy... managed it, okay. Alright. Wendy is going to, well, first of all, move, and then examine that for her second action. Carvey mentioned that this was the door to the lounge, yes, and... Ooh, nice big one. The lounge is full of fine artwork and lavish furniture. Discard this and put the lounge tile as indicated. Give me a moment to look for that. Okay, there is the lounge. A stately man sitting in an armchair makes notations in a notebook. Place a person token right there in that armchair. Also, a beautiful young woman is stretched over a couch. Place a person as indicated, and this, right, that was Leland, and here is May. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things to search here. A large sword has been mounted above, to the wall above the couch. An assortment of picture frames has been arranged on a side table. A door leads into what you can only presume is the dining room. You may move one space into the explored area. She will do so. And then move once more. Because that was part of the explore. She still has one space that she can move, so she will move right there. So that just leaves Akachi, who is not going to, well, she's not going to make it up there this turn, so we're going to have her talk to the butler. First action, she will move. Second action, well, let's start by asking what happened here. The butler's dull monotone is a stark contrast to the tight frown on his face. A gardener in Mr. Carvey's employ took exception to a comment made by Mr. Carver earlier today. He has since been released from employment. I would not normally speak of such unpleasant business, but I was instructed to answer any questions you might have. Please do not spread this around. Gain one clue. Okay, Akachi gets a clue. Now that is both of her actions, so she cannot talk to him again. That'll have to wait until next turn. So yeah, that's everything that the investigators can do at the moment. So we will go into the dreaded mythos phase. I'm hoping not much is going to happen right now. Mythos phase comes along, and lights flickers. And for an instant, shadows that were cast by nothing on this earth stalk across the wall. No immediate effect. And that is it for that. Now, not much happened there, so it may make the episode a little long, but we're going to do one more turn, I think. Let's get some investigating done. I'm going to start with Akachi this time, because I want to find out what's up with that door. So we're going to talk to the butler for her first action. What is through the unmentioned door? Mr. Carver's office. It is kept locked during dinner parties, as it contains documents relevant to his work. You are invited to enjoy the lounge or library while you await dinner, of course. Gain one clue. Well, it means Akachi's up to 3 clues anyway. Now, yeah, not much to be done there. Yeah, we still cannot do anything with that door. Alright, so for her second action, I assume we cannot ask the butler anything else. We cannot. She's going to start moving up here. 1, 2. Okay. It's like, I think that's 2 spaces. I may be screwing myself over by calling that 2 spaces, but it kind of looks like 2 spaces to me. Alright, next, let's go to Amanda. And for her first action, she is going to question Gene Spencer. Right there. Gene Spencer glances over a lone shelf of books. Greet is the action. She tilts her head, staring at you intently. Oh, hello. How do you know Tom? We can answer we are recent acquaintances or we are old friends. Might as well be truthful here. There's no point in lying about how long we've known Carver. We are recent acquaintances. Oh, that would explain why his personal assistant has not met you until now. Oh, right. His assistant. I hope you find everything you're looking for here tonight. Tom always has thrown the best parties, even if I am the one who has organized them for him. So we can say you organize these or personal assistant. Let's go with personal assistant. Yes, I have been working with Tom for several years now in acquiring rare and strange artifacts. That book over there, for instance. Jean nods to the book in the case. We found that one a few months ago. A work of art, really. Response. This isn't using up actions, by the way, obviously, otherwise I would have stopped. Interesting work you do, or a work of art. I'm going to go with a work of art. For a long moment, Jean just stares at you, and you attempt to keep her gaze. We are going to test Amanda's will, which is 4. We're trying to stare this woman down. We do have the 1 clue. We don't know how many we need. We only got 1 success. Let's go ahead and use the clue. That's what they're for. So we'll change that magnifying glass to another success, and we're going to plug 2 success into the app. Let's see if that's enough. Whatever she is assessing, she seems pleased. Yes, I've been eager to take a closer look at it, but Tom guards his collection quite jealously, even when I'm sure I could be of help with our latest group project. Excuse me, I'm sure we will go over all this in detail during dinner, and I do not want to spoil whatever speech Tom has planned. Gain a clue, so we get the clue back, which doesn't surprise me. It seemed like we would be getting clues. So I can continue to speak to her. I can say, read anything good, or have you spoken with the other guests? The only other thing I could do in this space is look at that book. But let's keep pumping Jean for information. Let's ask her about the other guests. I do not spend a lot of time with everyone else, but I suppose I know a little about most of them. Bruce and I have only met a few times, though I have done a little work for Bruce's father. It was all arranged through Thomas. May is a sweetheart, even though we are about as opposite as can be. For instance, she enjoys talking to strangers. Was that a little bit of passive-aggressive from Jean there, about having to talk to us? Leland has a very valuable collection. I would give anything to take a closer look at it. That is sufficient, I imagine. Gain 1 more clue. All right. So yeah, that's all that Amanda can do. So let's go to Wendy, who is going to have a little chat with Leland. Leland Williams jots notes in a small notebook. As an action, we will greet. Leland tucks his notebook into his pocket, then shakes her hand. Pleasure to meet you. And say, can you tell me about yourself, or how do you know Carvey? Can you tell me about yourself is a little abrupt. Let's go with, how do you know Carvey? Thomas Carvey. Met him at a charity gala. It was nice to have a friendly face at those things. We have a lot of similar interests. So we hit things off rather well. How do you know Thomas? Can say similar interests as well, or met him at a club. I'm going to go with similar interests. Wendy wouldn't go to a club. No. She's a child. Well, then I'm sure you and I will get along just fine. Say, has Thomas shown you any of his collection yet? You should take the chance before dinner to look around. The sword Carvey has on the wall is just one of several rare pieces he keeps on display, though, truth be told, I'm more interested in one of his books. I'm usually the first to hear of new finds like that one, but he got it out from right under my nose. Refuses to sell it, too, which is a shame, because I know I could turn a profit on it for him. Gain 1 clue. Now we're collecting clues like crazy. We can talk to him once more. How is business, and are you acquainted with the other guests? Well, let's go with how is business. It's these interests might be important. Leland shrugs. Fine as it ever is. Why, you're interested in acquiring something? I can say yes I am, or just asking. Ooh. Well, let's say yes I am, just to get an idea of what kind of stuff he deals in. Well then, I'm sure we could come to some understanding. You should come by my office tomorrow. Bruce Darcy was in there just the other day asking about my wares, and I will tell you what I said then. I have the best selection in 5 states. Come by, and I will give you the tour. gain a clue. So we are chock full of clues. And that is going to be it for everybody's actions. Everybody's done 2 things. So we will go to the mythos phase. Let's see if anything else happens. As Wendy Adams is walking, okay, she suddenly trips over something and tumbles to the ground. Place the Tome of Horror's common item in Wendy Adams's space. Okay, that's interesting. Tripped over a book lying on the floor. The Tome of Horrors. It's a bit of equipment, of course. When you suffer 1 or more horror while resolving a horror check, gain a clue. Okay, so it's a good way to get clues. Then she suffers 2 damage, which she can negate with agility +1. Well, I'm glad it was her because her agility is 5. She's going to roll 6 dice to try to prevent 2 damage. And she's done it. No point in rolling another one. She is fully successful. And that is it for that mythos phase. So, not a lot of action in that one. Hope nobody minded me just doing a lot of reading. But it's like a proper murder investigation. This is kind of a change of pace. Although, you know, bad things are still going to happen. So, I hope you'll join me next time when those bad things are likely to start cropping up. Yeah, I will see you next time for yet another episode of Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition. See you then.